are now tuned in to the TNF podcast. Here's your host, Jay Curtis Strickland.
Welcome to the TNF podcast. Like, comment, share, subscribe, click on that bell for notifications. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a follow and give us a rating. That would be fantastic. I have a merchandising company, Hell's Heart Merch Co. Go on over to hellsheartco.bigcartel.com. Use the code podcast for 20% off your entire order. They're fine Bella Canvas Next Level Tri-Blend t-shirts. They feel amazing. If you like movies, if you like hardcore themed t-shirts, check them out. I think you'll really be into them. A few things I wanted to promote. My friend John Cuccinello has a book called Come Inside and Meet My Punk Rock Family. It's a kid's book for adults, and it's a graphic novel that chronicles all the characters that he has met within the hardcore scene. 12% of the profits will go to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and you can pick it up at revhq.com. Check it out, please. It's a limited press. It's going fast, and I don't know that they're going to press it again, but they are doing a volume 2, so get them while I'm hot. Get them while they're hot. All right. And also, my friend Lou Collar is undergoing cancer treatment, and we have a QR code that we're going to put up in the video. So please go on over and help if you can. That would be greatly appreciated. All right. So my next guest today, this man is the unstoppable voice behind Queen's own Sworn Enemy, a guy who took New York hardcore grit, mixed it with thrash metal fury, and never eased off the gas. He's been the backbone of the band since day one, delivering that trademark raw street-level intensity that defines their sound. If you love music that hits like a brick through a windshield, this guy is the reason. Sworn Enemy still goes hard decades in. Ladies and gentlemen, Sal Lococo. Thanks so much for being here, Sal. Hey, what's going on, man?
How's everything, man?
What's new in your world, man?
Not much these days. Just, same old shit. Just work.
Same old shit. Work. What do you do outside of the band?
I drive for a living.
Like a freight truck driver?
No, I do I take people to the airport, to the city, personal stuff like that.
Okay. Awesome. And do they know that you're like a international hardcore superstar? Does that ever come up in conversation?
It has with some people, and I don't really get into detail with them. I just tell them I play in a band, and I play shows around the way here and there. I don't really go far into detail and tell people that I've been all over the world, and I've been touring for 20 years plus. So, but I mean, they know that I'm in a band, and they think I'm just like a singer in like some cover band or something that plays around the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've never had like a rider before that you've told them you were in Sworn Enemy and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Well, twice I've actually had somebody recognize me. So it was kind of odd because, I'm sitting behind the wheel driving, and dude's like looking at me, and I can see him in the rearview mirror, and he goes, "You look familiar, bro. Do you play music?" I said, yeah, why? He's like, "I knew it. You're the singer from Sworn Enemy, aren't you?" I was like, oh shit. Wow. That's not really, that doesn't happen too often. Like I said, it's only happened twice where somebody's recognized me. So
yeah,
it's kind of odd. It feels kind of odd when somebody does.
What was the other time like?
It was some guy and his girlfriend, and he said that as soon as he got in from the bar that I picked him up at, he knew instantly who I was. He's like, right away. He's like, "Oh shit, this is the singer from Sworn Enemy." He's like, I just seen you guys play not too long ago.
Dude, yeah. That's wild, man. That's got to be. That's got to be flattering to, be recognized, out in public and stuff. And, my first question for you is like, what was growing up like for you? And, I know Queens is where Sworn Enemy is from. Did you grow up most of your life in Queens?
First 24 years of my life, born and bred. Normal, regular, normal household. Just a kid growing up listening to music. I listened to what my uncle and my mother listened to. My mother was more into like the disco stuff, and like the pop, the top 100 or whatever. And my uncle was, he was the stoner. He listened to rock. He listened to, so that's where I get that side from him.
What sort of things were they listening to?
Well, I mean, back in the 70s, Donna Summer was big. My mother loved Donna Summer. Um, Shit, I can't even tell. I don't even remember the names of half of the things that she listened to, because I like I only like the popular stuff. I never delved deep down into the other kind of stuff. Just like just all the pop stuff. Who was even big at that time?
Well, Donna Summer would technically
Oh,
fall under the
the Bee Gees, stuff like that. Like
yeah.
Bee Gees, Donna Summer. Let's see, who else was big at that time? I can't even think.
Well, I was going to say like disco was like huge at the time, and then there came to a point where punk rock and just regular rock kind of just destroyed disco.
Oh
Like,
yeah, 100%.
how do you feel about that? Because myself personally, I've gone back and listened to some artists that are quote unquote disco, maybe not like the real popular ones, and I'm like, man, there's some serious musicianship in this band. Like, there's some good ass players.
Listen, I mean, in any music, you're going to get people that are great at what they do. It's not just it's not just like for instance, Eddie Van Halen. He's great at playing guitar. You're going to get people that do other forms of music that are really good at what they do, and they shine through, and you can tell those are the ones that rise to the top.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When you were growing up, did you play in any sort of high school bands or garage bands, or did you?
I did, actually.
You
When
did.
seventh grade, I was the backup drummer for the school band. Like everybody has a backup just in case if somebody can't make it. So
Mhm.
I played drums in seventh grade.
You played a kit, or do you play just like all around
It was
percussion?
no, it was a kit. It was a single bass. It was a snare. There was one tom, and it had hi-hat, cymbals, and that was it. It wasn't nothing over the top, nothing special. It was all just, it wasn't even a 4-piece, it was only a 3-piece, so it was basic.
Yeah. So you started as a drummer. I didn't even know that. Who were some of the musicians that kind of inspired you to take up drums?
Nobody inspired me. It just, you know when I first got to seventh grade, music was one of the classes that we had. And when we got there, the teacher told us that everybody's going to play an instrument in this classroom. I don't care what instrument you play, but everybody's going to play an instrument. And I didn't want to play the flute. I didn't want to play the clarinet. I didn't want to play the sax. I didn't want to play the tuba. I didn't want to play the guitar. What's left, there was drums. And the drums seemed cool, like there's only one drummer. Everybody else can, there's going to be multiples of everybody else, but there's only one drummer. So I was like, you know what? I'll be the coolest in the room. I'll be the drummer.
You're the
And I
most
and I and
essential.
I got the gig because 8 other people wanted it, but the music teacher tested everybody's abilities. He did some hand stuff, like some paradiddles or something like that, and I had the best hands, and he said, "You're it."
And the drummer is the most essential band member. I've always asserted that the drummer is the leader of the band because the drummer keeps the tempo. The drummer basically is the foundation for everything else that exists within the song.
Well, I will tell you this. In my opinion, I believe that the drummer is the backbone of the band. The leader, I don't know any drummers that are good
Yeah,
leaders because they're all flaky as fuck.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say you being a frontman now might have a different perspective, and yeah,
I definitely do.
I've dealt with that plenty of time. And well, yeah, you're the sole founding member of the band, you know, so you've held it together. You're the glue, you know, and so
Right.
I've definitely had my fair share of flaky drummers that I've had to deal with, and they got to really just be all on board, or the rest of the band suffers as a result.
100%. I mean, look, you could take this band, for instance. We have 6 albums and 2 EPs. Take a guess at how many drummers I've had on each one of them.
On each one?
On the whole, as a whole. So 8 albums. Let's just say I had 8 albums altogether. I've had 7 drummers for those 8 records.
You had virtually a different drummer for each record.
Exactly. And one drummer, we didn't even have a drummer. We had somebody who helped do the record until we got a drummer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Dude. And you guys were really able to kind of persevere. You guys put out some real fucking bangers, man. Like I have asserted that As Real As It Gets is one of the best hardcore albums ever. We rocked the fucking shit out of that album because it was just so brutal. It was just so raw and unrelenting, you know. I love it. And, you know, with, you know, drummers and whatnot, the drummer in my band at the time was actually really kind of digging on it. He was like, dude, Sworn Enemy's fucking awesome. And I told him about this show, and he was like, oh man, I'm going to listen to that, you know? So you guys did work, man.
Awesome, man. Thanks. Appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was your first like non-metal, non-hardcore concert? Was it any of those aforementioned disco acts?
It wasn't. It was I forget what year it was. I think it was 79. I went with my uncle, and we went to go see what was the name of the dude? Not Van Morrison. Oh, Jackson Browne. Sorry, Jackson Browne. We went to go see Jackson Browne, and that was my first taste of a concert ever. That's a legit concert. We went to back in the day, it was the Brendan Byrne Arena where the New Jersey Devils used to play. So this place doesn't even exist anymore. You know, that's like 15,000 people. So I'm like 8 years old, 7 years old, and I'm going to see Jackson Browne it was amazing, you know, sold out show. Great.
Mm-hmm. My dad actually drove for Jackson Browne. When you said you were a driver, I wasn't sure if you had actually done that in the realm of like driving musicians or shuttling musicians or anything like that.
Only by chance. Like I once had sticky fingers in my car.
Oh, no shit.
From Onyx, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he's kind of collaborated with like a lot of hardcore people before, you know, like Biohazard
they were just on tour with them.
That's right.
Biohazard and Onyx just recently did a tour together.
Yeah.
We played the one show at Starland Ballroom in Jersey.
Oh shit. How did that go?
It was great. Jersey's like a second home for us, you know. It's really, everybody there is very open to us. We feel like we're at home when we play in New Jersey.
Best New Jersey hardcore band then?
Best New Jersey hardcore band?
Mm-hmm. I can give you my answer.
All right, what's your answer?
I'm going to have to go with, it's either going to be a toss-up because he's my homie, OS 101, Hogan's Heroes, or Fury of 5.
I'm going to go Fury of 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a fair guess. I saw Fury of 5 absolutely fucking destroy it. Like the musicianship in that band is like next level. Those guys were so fucking tight. Yeah.
100%. They are awesome band. I mean, and the records don't even do them justice. You see them live. Oof, man, the energy, everything that they put out on that stage is just, it's ridiculous how good they are. Also
a big fan of Endeavor. Mike Olander, what's up, man? they were huge for me. Actually, I may have to change my answer. I would probably say Endeavor over Fury and OS, but those guys were equally as good. Like
No doubt.
I think that they just had a really kind of thriving scene. And it's good to know that you guys were well received within New Jersey. So my next question for you would be, what was your segue into hardcore and punk rock? How did you get involved with that?
Metalhead at first, growing up, started listening to stuff like, I was introduced to Judas Priest and, Iron Maiden. And from there, it just, you see stuff that those bands do and who the bands they tour with and things like that. And, progressed to stuff like Exodus and Anthrax, Testament, totally into like the thrash stuff. And
were you ever a Kiss fan?
I was, as a kid. I loved Kiss. I had the Kiss dolls. Those things were awesome. I wish I still had them. They're probably worth a fortune right now.
Yeah, probably.
I was a very big Kiss fan. I think my first album that my mother got me was probably Destroyer.
Oh shit. That's pretty cool that your mom got it for you too, because I don't think a lot of parents would have been down with Kiss.
Well, she's the one that bought me the Kiss dolls as well. I
Oh shit.
when Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park and it was on at like 12 o'clock at night, and I'm like 5-6 years old, and I was like, Ma, I gotta stay up and watch it. You gotta wake me up. It's a weekend. Come on, I don't have no school. I gotta watch it. That shit was big when you're a kid and you want to watch that. That's the program, and Kiss was it. I loved Kiss at the time.
Yeah, I a lot of people have come onto the show and have mentioned Kiss as being an influence. I think I was a little bit, I was like a generation removed from Kiss, so I was never really fully able to appreciate them musically or even aesthetically. But going back on it now, I was like, man, there's so many bands that would not exist had Kiss not been a part of the musical landscape at the time.
Absolutely. They set like the stage for like all the rock bands from the mid 70s to the early 80s. And they probably took half of those bands out on tour with them. I mean, one of Van Halen's best tours they talk about was when they opened up for Kiss in 76, I think it was 76 or 77. I forget exactly the year, but because I just watched that Eddie Van Halen thing, that documentary on him, and he was talking about that Kiss tour.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I definitely like Van Halen. I think that they were just, they were fucking shredders, man. Like they
Absolutely
fucking brought it, and they influenced a lot of people as well. So you were a metalhead. I'm assuming you probably started going to shows. Were you like a big CB's guy?
Not at first. I wasn't really into the hardcore thing. I didn't know it. I got into hardcore probably in 87 when I first seen the Cro-Mags play. And that was the beginning of that. Well, for me, that was basically the beginning of the end for metal, because then it was all about hardcore after that. I still love metal to this day, and I'll always love the Slayers and the Testaments and Exoduses and Anthrax and bands like that. I always will listen to that stuff. Metallica, the early stuff, but after that it changed totally. I started listening. There was a whole I would say right after that I found the Cro-Mags, I would say for the next 5 to 10 years all I listened to was hardcore. And once I found Biohazard, that was the end of it. It was they in my eyes, that was the band that could do no wrong.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer to Biohazard. I definitely, back to what you were saying about Biohazard and Onyx, I remember that song from the Judgment Night soundtrack.
Oh, yeah?
And I thought it was cool. Yeah, but I didn't really kind of grasp onto Biohazard until I would say probably within the past maybe decade.
Right.
I wasn't. I was not a part of that hardcore scene. I lived vicariously through a lot of the bands that came out of that scene, but Biohazard was not one that initially clicked with me. And then I would just go back. I'd listen to Urban Discipline and I was like, holy fucking shit, this is really good. Like these guys were just doing something completely different. Like, but at the same time, they were, it was like a variation on a theme, you know, like they were really like,
that
they were just bringing
to
it.
me was game changing. Like you said, they were doing something on a totally different level, something different that nobody's done. And man, still bands are still trying to do what they do. You know, it's they were doing this in '91. You know, they're just an amazing band.
Yeah. Yeah, I love them. I'm a big fan. So what was your first, oh, you said you saw Cro-Mags on the Age of Quarrel? You did? Okay.
And it was only by chance because they happened to be open up for Anthrax at the Beacon. You know, Armored Saint, Cro-Mags, and Anthrax. And I sat through Armored Saint because I really never, even as a metalhead, I wasn't really a fan of Armored Saint, not one of my particular favorites. And Cro-Mags came on, and from the first note when they hit the stage, they destroyed this place, just utterly destroyed it. It was unbelievable, the amount of energy the band had, like crazy. It was something I've never seen before, and I was like, whoa, who the fuck is this band? And I went and bought the Age of Quarrel, and you know, as all kids did at that time, we went through the thank you list, looked and see all the bands that they thank, and those are the records you went out and bought.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the way to do it, man. There was no like Spotify recommendations or anything like that. You just had to look at the liner notes.
Recommendations. The band was giving you a recommendation saying, hey, look, I'm thanking these guys. So that means go check them out.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the way, man. That was the way. And with Cro-Mags, Age of Quarrel, especially that whole lineup, man, it pains me to know that we will never see that era's lineup ever again, because it was, you just go back and watch those older videos. I mean, well, you got to see it live, but for me, I go back and watch like videos of them, and just fucking electric, man. Like they just had some of the best stage presence, and I would not be a spiritual practitioner were it not for the Cro-Mags. Like that inspired me as well. And I just think that there was something completely different about that time in hardcore, in New York hardcore in general. Like there was this kind of like this essence that you couldn't, necessarily see, but it was just there.
I hear you. It felt like it was almost a movement.
Totally. So like, as far as, you being a vocalist, who are some musicians, I'm guessing probably Biohazard, but who are some other like frontmen that really kind of inspired you as far as your approach when you're on stage?
Well, approach, I give it up to Eddie Sutton from Leeway. That dude had such stage presence. I mean, a great band. You can't take nothing away from that band. They were one of the first crossover bands. Like they were like hardcore thrash, and they did it to perfection. And Eddie brought it all together, man. His voice, presence on stage, the way he commanded an audience, all the stuff he used to do. It's just, you watch that guy, that he was electric. And I always wanted to be kind of like him when it comes to being a front man. He always said the right things, and he had like some kind of like comedic value to some of the stuff that he said. So he was like a comedian on stage. He would like taunt the crowd. He was just great all around, man. Everything he did was perfect.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, when it comes to actually vocally appealing, like sound wise, I mean, there's two of my favorites always going to be like Phil from Pantera and Tim from VOD. Those two guys, like, I thought was some of the best screams and growls and yelling and banshee sounding ass motherfuckers on the planet.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Pantera was another one for me where I was kind of a late bloomer to them. There was a lot of music that I would say that I probably wasn't allowed to listen to growing up. I don't think Pantera was on my parents' radar, but I think it would have definitely pissed them off if I was like playing it in heavy rotation, you know? So I
hear
always
you.
had to go to friends' houses to listen to it. And so I never really got to kind of, you know, take in Pantera as much as I'd say some of my other friends did. But, you know, yeah, you go back and you listen to like Far Beyond Driven, and, you know, even I don't think a lot of people really like this album, but Great Southern Trendkill is a fucking awesome album.
Awesome record.
You know?
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And what was the
Actually,
one they did?
that's one of their better ones, to be honest. If you ask me, I mean, my favorite is Vulgar Display, but
Vulgar Display, yeah.
But my second favorite is the Great Southern Trendkill.
What was the album they did? It was like the last album that they did for a while, and like Phil was kind of
Reinventing
the steel. Yes. Yeah, that's not bad. I think a lot of people.
It's not a bad record at all.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't really give it its due, and I didn't really either, to be truthful. And then I listened to it and I was like, yeah, this is good. Why do people hate on this shit?
You know, it's what people do. People will just love to hate on shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Not only just Pantera, but just whatever. We're made up of a bunch of haters in this world.
Right. Go to Reddit. Go to the hardcore subreddit. There's some hate-ass motherfuckers on that place. So let's talk Sworn Enemy a little bit. Now, was Sworn Enemy your first actual band, or did you have any sort of like proto bands leading up to that?
It was. Well, let's put it this way. Sworn Enemy was Sworn Enemy, but it was two names prior before we actually became Sworn Enemy. But it was like me and the same two guitar players started from the beginning, and then we just progressed through two different name changes, and then we finally became Sworn Enemy.
What was the reason for the name changes? Was it kind of just you were moving in a different direction stylistically, or you just didn't like the names?
Well, one of the names was called Mindset right before we were Sworn Enemy, and you know, there was another band called Mindset that was bigger, and they threatened lawsuit if we didn't change the name. So, you know, and at the time we were working with Jamie Josta from Hatebreed, and he was going to put out a record, and he's like, look, I don't want to be, you know, involved if there's going to be like a lawsuit with you guys. So we might as well just change the name. And then, you know, but we were called Mindset before we were Sworn Enemy. And then before we were Mindset, we were called Downfall. So we changed the name from Downfall to Mindset, and then from Mindset to Sworn Enemy, and then from Sworn Enemy. So now.
Sworn Enemy's the best, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, it's a super memorable name.
You started working with Jamie, and that was how I found you. My band played with Hatebreed a bunch back in the day, and they would always have these Stillborn record samplers on there. And, you know, I remember that the album was like As Real As It Gets was joint released with Stillborn and like Elektra. And then you guys were like all over the place. Like you guys were on MTV, Two Headbangers Ball, and I think, and I didn't know this actually, I think Chris Ruffini actually said that you had played on Ozfest one year.
We did, 2003.
Was that the tour? Or?
Yeah, the whole tour. We did
the whole tour. Okay.
2 months, January 26th till September 2nd. That was the longest Ozfest, and it's probably one of the better ones that year because the main stage bands was Chevelle, Disturbed, Manson, Korn, and then of course Ozzy.
Dude, yeah, that would have been a hell of a lineup. And
yeah, it was sick.
With Ozfest, there's been a few bands that have been on here that have been on Ozfest, like Earth Crisis and Bleeding Through. What was your experience like with Ozzy? Did you have any sort of personal interaction with him?
Never personal interaction with him. I had a personal interaction with Sharon. I mean, there was days where she would actually come and sit down with her right-hand person who was actually very good friends with us, and they would both come and sit down in the food tent and have lunch with us.
I heard she's like a really sweet person.
Very nice, super nice. You know, I mean, a woman of not many words, because obviously she didn't really know who we were, but you know, still, whatever conversations we did strike up, very cool, very nice.
And with the album As Real as It Gets, you know, I'll tell you this: I play the song "Sworn Enemy" every 9/11 because you know the lyric is the screams, the tragedy, the horror, 9/11.
Right.
Did I get that right? The
Yes, you did.
screams. Okay. I listened to that, and you know, because that was a pretty pivotal day for me. I was in the service at the time, and we were like, we're fucking going to war, you know. And so, as like a native New Yorker, like, oh, what was that like? What was, you know, that it had to be kind of a terrifying
It's super,
experience.
super terrifying. You know that this can happen. You know, like it was. Well, at first it was just you just couldn't believe that. Was it real? Like you didn't even know if it was real or not. Like, could this really be happening right now? And I mean, the job I had at the time, I was working with a gentleman who was on. Look, I got the goosebumps thinking about it. He was on the phone with his brother, who worked at what was the name of that company? It was one of the brokerage firms, and they had 13 floors in the World Trade. And he was on the phone with his brother till the very end, when until the tower that he was in collapsed, and he lost his brother. Obviously, he perished when the tower collapsed. But you know, just hearing him talking to his brother and trying to calm him down and everything, and you know, and then all of a sudden he gets click. And the crazy thing is, at our job, we were watching the television. So he got the click and we were watching the tower collapse, and it was like, holy shit, he just lost his brother. You know, so it was like it was an unreal experience. You know, it's hard to explain it, but you know, I'm fortunate. I did not lose anybody who was at the time special to me. You know, like nobody. I didn't know anyone who was. I hear a lot of stories from people that they tell me that they lost loved ones, and you know, they lost family members, and they lost friends, and but I was lucky. I didn't lose anybody.
Did you know? Do you know Richie from Wisdom and Chains?
Yes.
He was part of the like salvage crew that went in and found people in the building.
Wow. That's something. I never knew that. He never
Yeah,
spoke about
yeah,
that.
yeah. He told a story about that on this show, and it's it was a crazy day. I thought I was watching like a movie at first. I was like, this can't be real. And you know, when it at
That's
first
what
when
I
it
thought.
the first yeah, at first when the first plane hit, we were like, oh, it's an accident. You know, something crazy happened. Then it was like second plane, and I was like, oh no, this was no accident.
Yep.
You know, and like it was just surreal. And like I said, I play that every day on that day in memoriam for the people that were lost. Um, but with that album, though, you guys got a lot of mainstream exposure, like we had mentioned, Ozfest and MTV. And how was it like? Did you work more primarily with Stillborn, or was it with Elektra? I mean,
It was.
it
I
was
would say we worked more with No Name, our management. They
No
worked.
Name. That's right.
They worked everything for us, really. You know. So
It,
we just everything that we got, we found out. You know, they would Steve Ross would contact us, let us know what's going on, and he would take care of everything, and we just rolled with it, you know.
when you guys made the shift to Century Media, what was the reason for that? Did they feel like you would be a better fit on there, or was it like a numbers game with Elektra, or how did that
Well,
work?
after Electra dropped us because they had no idea what to do with us. They didn't have a band like us on their label before, so they really had no clue what to do with us, and it, you could tell that they had no clue. Like I would get into like the our A&R person at Electra, he would have me lined up doing about 10 interviews a day, which is great. But I mean, half of the interviews were people that were working for like rock magazines and rock stuff, and they're talking to me about, you know, Nirvana and Green Day, and I'm like, you got the wrong genre.
Yeah, you got to go a little,
So
yeah.
they really didn't know what to do with us, and it was tough for them to like market us when you don't know what to do with us. I mean, I'll give them credit. In New York, we're all over New York, I seen our stuff everywhere, but outside of New York, I don't think they really knew what to do. You know, so we wound up getting dropped after the first record because I guess we didn't live up to the expectations, the hype of Hatebreed, and you know, Hatebreed sold 200,000-300,000 records on their debut on a major label, like which I forget which one they were on, but
Universal, I think.
Universal, right. So
yeah,
we didn't live up to those expectations or those numbers, so they dropped us, and then, you know, I wound up pretty much getting us with Century Media. It wasn't but it was me personally, from being friends with Robert, one of the co-owners of Century Media. We were playing. It was 2004. We were doing festivals over there in Europe, and he came to the With Full Force Fest, and we had a good conversation. He's like, you know, get your manager to hit me up, and, you know, let's talk. We'll take it from there. So I basically was the one who put Steve Ross in the room with Robert, and they worked things out, and we wound up getting signed. And then, you know, being the nice guy that Steve Ross was, he took his signing bonus and then dropped us.
What?
Yeah, well, that was No Name. What can you do? Shit happens, right? Don't they say that the industry is shady?
Yeah. Well, Biohazard has a whole song about it.
Exactly. There you go. And every band suffers some way or another, right? Now, in all honesty, I should have got that signing bonus because I'm the one that hooked us up with the label.
Right.
But I tried to do the right thing for the band and get us signed to Century Media, and then the guy who's managing us goes and takes the money and leaves and drops us from the management.
What a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? They did right by us by getting us on Ozfest. So I'm not gonna ever complain, because that really gave us our start. That jump started the band, you know. Like, we were on a good course, but, you know, when you're playing in front of all of those people at Ozfest every single day, you're getting a built-in fan base.
Yeah.
And those Ozfest people, they just eat up music. They don't care what you are, hardcore, metal, new metal, whatever. If you're good,
they just like it.
That's it. If you're good, you're good. And if you suck, you suck. Bottom line.
Right. That's one thing that I do kind of appreciate about a more mainstream crowd, is that they're very loyal. They're very, like you said, if they like you, they like you. Yep, and absolutely. they don't give a shit like what scene you're from. They just want to see that you're just a solid fucking rockin' act. That's all.
That's it. And that's all they care about.
That's great. Did any of that audience, do you feel like, carry over with you when you started kind of doing the later albums? Because, like,
yeah,
to be honest with you, when I heard the beginning of the end, I was like, fuck, this Sworn Enemy? I was like, this is crazy. And we actually were, my second band, we were recording with the producer Jamie King, and I think I put it on in the CD player or something. We were just playing it like while we were setting something up, and Jamie looks back and he goes, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's the new Sworn Enemy." And he was like, "Forgive me." He says, "Can I rip this to my hard drive?" And I was like, I said, "Yeah, sure," you know, and like, but he loved it. He was so into it, you know, and he just it was one of those same but different things. Like, you guys still had the same originating sound, but you took and you added to that with like the thrash elements. Now, Was that a conscious decision, or was it just kind of a byproduct of stuff you may have been listening to at the time?
I think it was a little bit of both. Not on my part, but I think it was a little bit of both by all the people who write the music. You know, you can see how metal bands can go farther. You know, like and I think it got into some people in the band at that time. I think it got into their brains, and they wanted to be up here, but that really, it wasn't us, kind of. I mean, it was, because we're all metalheads, but like when you start a certain way, and then I mean, I guess it's progression as well. You can't really, I can't fault anybody for anything. It's just, that's the way it turned out. And I'll be honest, the beginning of the end, up until Game Changer, that was my favorite record. Forget about As Real as It Gets. Forget about any of the other records. Beginning of the end, I thought, for me personally, I was thinking in my head, wow, if people like As Real as It Gets, they're going to love Beginning to End. This record is going to be the this is going to be the Rain and Blood for us. This is our Rain and Blood. Like, this is the record that's going to put us out there. And man, was I fucking wrong. It actually, it was like, that record backfired on us. People were calling us sellouts. It was crazy.
Really? I mean, I don't think I ever heard any chatter about it.
I did. Trust me, I did. And I always thought to myself, how do you make a record that's heavier than the one you just made and be called a sellout? Usually, if we sounded like All American Rejects, then maybe you could call us a sellout. But we sounded like something that was heavier than what we just did.
Yeah.
And I could never, to the life of me, understand how people would say that record was a sellout. But it is what it is.
I would say that, a lot of your contemporaries at the time, because it definitely has kind of that like Swedish influence sound, like the very like Gothenburg Swedish metal. And
does it have anything to do with the fact that the guy who produced the record was Tim Lambesis, As I Lay Dying?
And that's kind of what I thought. I was like, yeah, he probably, I mean, did he have a hand in like the writing process?
He did help us with 2 songs on the record. But to his credit, I'm gonna tell you right now, what he did is what a producer is supposed to do. I told him straight up, these 2 songs are fucking whack. They suck. I don't care. I'm not gonna put them on the record the way they are. Let's make them better, and let's, see. I got it. I can't be around for some of this, for the creative process, because I could be like I could bring the whole vibe of everybody down, because like, I speak my mind. I don't like it, I'm gonna tell you I don't like it. I'm gonna tell you it sucks. I'm gonna tell you it's garbage. And those 2 songs were garbage. So I had to disappear for a while. So while they made, while they Jekyll and Hyde 2 of these songs together, and it wound up being 2 of the best songs on the record. So I was like, wow, you guys did a great job.
You worked with him for quite a few releases, didn't you?
3 straight records: Beginning and the End, Maniacal, and Total World. And he was, look, whatever people have against him for what he did, that's his personal life. But as a producer, he's on point. I'm not even gonna lie. The dude
I agree.
What he's supposed to do. He produces. Here's something bad, he fixes it. He doesn't like when we first started working with him on like Beginning of the End, I got upset when he wanted me to change lyrics. Like, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy telling me to fucking fix lyrics and make them better, But then I realized, like, he's helping me out. That's what a producer's supposed to do,
Right.
And I give him credit for all the help he did for us on all his records, on all our records. The only thing I'm upset about is he never took us out on tour.
No.
Nope.
That's crazy.
You would think that the guy would want to take us out. Like, he's got his name on our record.
Right. I didn't know that.
The more we sell, isn't he going to make more money? He's got
Yeah, I would
fades,
think so. Yeah,
right?
I didn't know that. I thought for sure you guys had done even at least like
We
a
did
small string of shows.
we did tour with them, but we took them out.
Okay. So you did tour, but he didn't ever like
No, but
reciprocate. And
but
then okay,
I would like for the favor to be returned. You know, like
sure,
once again, it is what it is.
sure.
That
I mean, that's kind of the expectation in hardcore, and it doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately.
it doesn't. You're right, and you know, I I don't know. I can't. I wish I could explain why, but I just I don't like. If somebody does something for me, I'm more than willing to do for you. You know,
Turn around. Yeah.
that's
Sure.
but that's me. You know, is that unity?
I would say. I would say. I mean, I would say,
Right.
and
I
and
live by the code. You know,
right.
somebody does for me, I do for them. And I'm not even talking about just in music. I'm talking about in life. You know,
Yes.
you help me out. I'm more than willing to help to reciprocate and help you out because
Right.
that's just how I was raised. That's the way, you know, my mother brought me up. She's like, you know, you never turn your back on somebody that helped you ever.
Hmm. So that's a good mom right there. Like that's some really
My
good like
yeah,
wisdom.
she was the best. I mean, still is. She's still with me. She is the
It's
best.
great.
I mean,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and back to what we were saying about the whole selling out thing. I feel like there's only so, because like even Hatebreed started to add like guitar solos and stuff, like you
of
got to kind
course.
of switch it up a little bit. And there's going to be some people that are along for the ride and there's going to be some people that aren't, and
Right.
personally I like those records a lot. I think they're fucking awesome. Like I said, we were really all jiving with them, and maniacal, even so, like you guys even kind of doubled down and did more of the thrash stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking great. Like I don't care what anybody says, this is fucking awesome, so.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean,
And so
I'm with you. I listen. They're my records. I love them, but a lot of people didn't like the direction that things were going in. So, you know, sometimes you can't only just please yourself if you want to make a career out of it.
yeah, that's true as well, but I mean, when okay, let me just take some of my favorite movies. I love the Star Wars movies, but a
Me
lot of
too.
people bitched. Well, a lot of people bitched at George Lucas because he wanted to kind of do things his own way and he wanted to kind of switch things up. And then it's like, well, where does it become like, well, I want to be an artist and I kind of want to do what I want. And if you like it, great. If you don't, fuck off,
Right.
So it's really a fine line between wanting to please the audience to sell records and keep them happy versus like, hey, we really want to make this stylistic change, we really want to go in this direction,
Well,
and if you don't like it, kick rocks.
basically, what you're saying is exactly what Marvel did with all their movies. They didn't go the route of the comic books. And for fans like me, I'm a big comic book buff. I knew the X-Men back and forward. I knew all of the Avengers. I knew all of this stuff. But what they did is they made it for today's audience. They don't care about the people that bought the comic books 40 years ago. They care
Right.
about they're going to make money now, and they made the movies more appealing to an audience of, you know, younger kids, the teenagers, the people who don't know those comic books, who will never know those comic books, but now they know this Avengers and they know this X-Men.
Right.
Same premise.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess when you look at it from a certain perspective, it's like, you are kind of running a business, and so yeah, you really got to kind of ride
Of
the line
course.
between keeping the old fans happy and satisfying and appeasing a modern audience.
I'll be honest. At first, I wasn't with the changes because I'm like, they're not following the timeline. But then you just watch the movie for what it's worth, and then I'm like, you know what? I like
bad.
this. This is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And so you guys toured quite extensively. What are some of your favorite places to play domestically in the United States and internationally?
Domestically, uh, Jersey's great.
Besides New York. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jersey.
New York has always been a tough place for us, to be honest. It's always been tough. Like we've always had better turnouts outside of New York. Like I don't know. I can't explain why. New York has just never been like that spot. Like like how a lot of bands, their home base, they fucking love coming back home because then they'll have sellout shows, great times.
Yeah.
We like only recently have we really been getting a taste of what it's a good, like really good shows are like in New York. Like New York never used to be good for us. Strange. It was in the very, very, very beginning, and it's starting to get like that again now for us, which is weird, but it's cool.
Do you
I'm
think it
very
might have?
happy.
Do you think it might have been because of the stylistic changes?
I mean, it could be because people in New York hardcore love their New York hardcore. So I mean,
Yeah.
it could be, but like I said, Jersey always been a great place for us. Um, Texas has always been cool. Uh, Chicago's always been a great place to play. California, there's been numerous places in California that we always love to play. Even Florida. Florida's always been a good place to play. These are some of the places that I personally like domestically.
What?
Internationally, Belgium. Belgium is amazing. Netherlands, amazing. Poland is one of my favorites. Poland has got to be probably in my. It's probably my. It definitely. I'm gonna say it is my favorite place to play. Like the people in Poland are just unbelievable.
They really are.
Yep. That's probably my favorite, and Belgium and the Netherlands. Those three places. I'm gonna put Paris in there too as well. Paris has really always been great for us. People always turn out. Um, yeah, those are my favorites.
Okay. Yeah, I got to spend some time in those countries, not in like a hardcore band capacity, but just there. And you're absolutely, you hit the nail on the head about Poland. Just like really great people, and
100.
yeah, Belgium, beautiful. I thought of even moving there, but it's super expensive.
Is it really?
Yeah, well, the euro doesn't go like the dollar is worth less than the euro.
Right.
It's like, yeah, just crazy expensive to live over there, and so yeah, I spent some time in Brussels, and it was just like I was like, yeah, I could dig this, and like Brussels, and then the surrounding countrysides out there. I was just traveling around. I was wish I had more loot. So
I hear that, bro. I hear that.
I think that's an aspiration we all kind of have. So all right, this is a question I always ask people: craziest tour stories. The funny ones are the better ones. So what do you got?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really have that many crazy tour stories. Like we never. Well, let's put it like this. I was always the sober one. So I always had to be like the driver or the babysitter or that guy who made sure that everybody got back to the vehicle to go to the next show guy. So while everybody else is off having a good time and doing shenanigans and whatnot, I was always worried that, oh, where's this guy at? I gotta go find him. Where's he at? So my point of view of crazy stories is my list isn't very very long. It's kind of short. So I'm the boring guy, you would say. You know, these
Well,
these
but
these these are questions you could ask Lorenzo, who used to be in the band.
and I reached out to Lorenzo about being on the show, and hopefully I'll hear back from him one of these days. But uh, every band needs, I think, at least one person like that. If not
Oh, of
more.
course. And I'm pretty much positive every band has somebody who creates a lot of crazy stories, who generates a lot of crazy stories.
Right. I was in a band of 5 members. Only 2 of us were like partiers, and I was one of the partiers. So we were always being like, essentially like mothered by our other band members. Hey, don't drink too much. Don't do this. And they're like, fuck you, But um, now that I'm sober, actually, I kind of wish they had done that a little bit more, So, but I mean, that's admirable, dude. Like I said, I think everybody kind of needs that that person, if not multiple people,
Gotcha. I mean, it's not really a crazy story, but it's like one of the best times of my life story. I could tell you one of those. It's, we're on tour with Kitty in 2003, and Kitty, Morgan, and Mercedes are like, "Yo, look, we're gonna go to the clubhouse tonight. We're gonna go hang out with Dime and Vinny from Pantera." You don't gotta ask us twice to ask us if we want to come. It's like, "Yep, we're there. We're hanging out." So to make a long story short, we wound up going back to Vinny Paul's house. We're hanging out with Vinny Paul all night. They're hanging out with Dimebag all night. He's with Rita. She's hanging out all night. Everybody's hanging out all night. And we're like hanging out with Pantera. Like we're in Vinny Paul's house, and it was like, you talk about surreal. It was kind of crazy. It's like,
yeah,
I'm playing Vinny Paul in air hockey for tours. I had me and Dimebag were going shot for shot on Jaeger, and I kicked his ass. that was my claim to fame.
That was your story.
Yeah, he's like, "Yo, son, you got me," and he actually wound up leaving. But I mean, don't get me wrong; it was like 4 or 5 in the morning too, so it was probably. He probably was drinking when he was at the clubhouse, hanging out, and, so, but I mean, we ate all of Vinnie Paul's food. We rummaged his kitchen. It was just, it was a big fucking party. It was great. We had a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. Surreal. Like you said, those are some of the best moments.
Those are memories that you just they'll always stay with you, like, when you think about Pantera, you think about the biggest metal band in the world, right? Here I am. I'm in the drummer's house hanging out with his brother and him. My drummer got to play the Reinventing the Steel drum set with all like legends. Like, he was playing with Dime and Vinny, and it was just, it's just crazy. Crazy. You don't think that shit like that's going to happen when you're on tour,
There was a discussion I was having the other day where it was like, a lot of people have security in this life. A lot of people have straight jobs. A lot of people have a wife and 2.5 kids and a white picket fence and security, and I thought about it like this. It's like, I mean, I'm a practitioner of Eastern religion, but, from other perspectives, you got one life, and like,
enjoy it.
You yourself, and I have a similar story in that it was an almost cool story. It's not as quite, but like, so one of my buddies comes in and he was like, "Hey man, you want to go to a Halloween party at Glenn Danzig's house?" I was like, yeah. I was like,
wow,
fuck yeah,
cool.
Yeah. But I didn't get to go because he didn't end up going. He was like, "No, I don't think I'm gonna go." And I'm like, I was like, "Fuck you, man," So, but it's one of those things, like, you get those surreal opportunities and those surreal encounters, and you get to talk about those stories the rest of your life, like how you got to party with the dudes in Pantera, how you got to play in all these countries around the world, how you got to tour with Ozfest, and it's like, nothing against like somebody that's like a white collar type dude or anything, but like they may have not necessarily had those experiences,
and they probably never will. Here's the saying: you got to be in it to win it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win the lotto if you don't put the dollar down.
That's right.
And some people have it in them that they want to go take chances and do these things and play in a rock and roll band and tour the world, and maybe they can make something of themselves. And other people, they want to stay home and work 9 to 5 and sit in their cubicle and be on the phone all day long and come home and then complain about how work went all day. Everybody, there's plenty of those in the world. We don't need any more of them.
Yeah. In fact, I just got out of one of those, and I'm really glad, actually. I just,
Good for you, then.
yeah, well, it kind of inspires you, like, especially when you're a creative person. Like, it just, I don't know if you were ever an athlete or anything, but like, it gets you to like work harder,
Of
like you're
course.
just like, fuck this, like I'm just going to double down and just keep doing more stuff. And I think that's, yourself included, like that's pretty common for like creatives. They don't give up. They just keep hitting the grind and doing it again.
That's why I'm still doing it right now. And I will keep doing it until the day when my vocal cords say, hey, Sal, guess what? You're fucked.
I know a common one is like vocal polyps on the vocal cords. I think that's why a lot
Right.
of people gotta give it up. Yeah.
I mean, I've been lucky so far. I haven't really had any issues ever with my voice. I mean, I think as I've gotten older, it's actually gotten stronger. So it sounds way more harsh than it did 20 something years ago.
Do you have like a vocal like warm up, or do you do like tea or anything like that? I know some guys do that.
I usually do like a shot of whiskey and smoke a few cigarettes. If that's a vocal warm up,
That's the Tom Waits vocal warm up right
that works for me. Then
there. Hey,
it's never failed me.
yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
And that's what I do. I never change any routines, because I've heard. I mean, look, the amount of bands I've toured with over the last 28 years, I've heard every single. Oh, I take these licorice sticks. Oh, I drink honey with tea. Oh, I like I drink only room temperature ginger ale.
Right.
Coke is good for my stomach. It helps coat my throat. I mean, I've heard everything you could think of on this planet when it comes to singers trying, because everybody always asks me, what do I do? And then I tell them, I don't know. I smoke a cigarette, drink a shot of whiskey, and I'm good to go.
That's the most fucking like rock and roll fucking answer right there, man. I love that. That's great.
And that's just the truth. I don't do anything. Like, I barely even practice with the band, because our practice schedule is, first off, we don't really practice unless we have a show coming up. Nobody gets together because we all have different time frames of which we can practice. So for us to even get together to practice, it's got to be like, because our drummer can't make it, so we're practicing with this other drummer. So we got to have some people that will make it. So people have to they have to like change time schedules at work or something, just so we could work with another drummer, because sometimes our drummer can't make it, and we have like 4 backup drummers. Like I told you, we always have a hard time with drummers. I don't know what the fuck it is, but this band has some kind of curse with drummers. But whatever the case, so I can go 2 months without screaming, then all of a sudden we'll have a show, and I'm like, are we going to practice, guys? I mean, they're like, oh yeah, we practiced the other night, but you couldn't make it. I was like, so that's it. We're done. We're not practicing. I'm not practicing for this show. I'm going to go into the show cold. And I can't tell you how many times I've done that over the last 3 years. It just takes me like 1 or 2 screams, and I'm right back into it.
Man, fucking respect, man. Because like you had mentioned, some people have all these crazy rituals and things that they do, and yeah, I'm kind of I give you props, man. I think that's awesome. Okay, so we were talking about media. We were talking about Marvel. So I'm assuming you're like a big comic dude as well. What are some
Oh,
other
absolutely.
things? What are some other things as far as like well, I guess arts. I don't know if you're a reader, like arts and literature that has influenced you in the past, and like what are you reading, listening to, and watching at present?
I'm not really a reading person. I've never been a reading guy. Even when I was in elementary school. You know, there was it was mandatory that everybody had to have riff. You know, like you would have an hour where they would make you read. So I would just, you know, fourth, fifth grade, sixth grade, I used to bring in Playboy or Penthouse and read that inside my book because I never fucking read. I couldn't read. I was like, well, I'm not reading this shit. I'm not reading these books that they want me to read. That was garbage. So I never read. But I mean, I do love television. You know, I like watching. There's a shit ton of great series on all of these streaming networks that we have. I wish they could do something about that. Make all these networks into one thing, so I don't have to have Hulu, Prime, Netflix, Max, Paramount, Apple Plus, Disney. I mean, please put it all into one thing. I mean,
it's like having cable again.
It really is. But I mean, I do like a lot of series that they're coming out with, especially that guy Taylor Sheridan. He puts out a lot of good stuff, you know. So I watch a lot of his programs. I used to love sports. Like I was big time into sports until, you know, Sworn Enemy took over my life, and then, you know, sports became a thing of the past when you're touring 300 days out of the year. So I couldn't really do that anymore. But yeah, television's always been movies. I love going to the movies, you know, television, shit like that. Video games. I'm also a big video game guy. I love video games.
Oh, shit. What do you got?
PlayStation 5. I've been playing the same game for about 8 years. So
which game?
Well, at first it started on PlayStation 4. It's called The Division.
Okay.
And it's
sports game?
No, it's not. It's a looter shooter game. It's fucking insane. I love it.
Okay.
But
all right.
I'm waiting for something better to come around. I mean, I can't find a game that's better. When a better game comes out, I'll play it. But until then, you know, I guess I got to wait till, what is it, Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, which they're waiting. Now it's not coming out till next year.
I was going to say, is it ever going to come out?
I have no idea, bro. But whatever the case may be, I guess that'll be the next game I get, because I just can't get unhooked off of this game. They keep putting new content out. And of course, you know, it brings you in, it lures you in, new stuff. I got to get it. More exotic component, more exotic gear, more exotic guns. I got to get them. You know, they got all these new outfits. It's, you know, they just keep luring you back.
Yeah. Are you a Switch gamer?
A Switch? No.
No. Okay. The Switch 2.
PS5. That's all I play.
Okay. The Switch 2 is coming out. Well, it's out, but it's still crazy expensive. It's like $500, and it's only got a handful of games. I was just like, yeah. I was like, I'll wait for it to go down in price a little bit.
I'm gonna be honest. 500 ain't that bad, because when the PlayStation 5 came out, remember, it was during COVID. You couldn't even get them. So I remember it came out. No, it came out November of, what was it, 2021? And
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, November of 2021. I got mine in January of 2022. I got lucky because my brother-in-law, he had a friend, you know, and mysteriously a couple of PlayStations, you know, they fall off of the back of a truck, and, you know, he's like, yo, I got one. Would you like it? I'm like, oh, yes, I would. Thank you. So I wound up paying $725 for it, but well worth it. I already made my money off of the fucking game because I've been playing it nonstop.
Right. Yeah. A buddy and I were talking. Well, actually, no, it was Jonathan from Slapshot, you know, because he works in that field. He was saying that, you know, you invest money into a video game and you get so many hours with the gameplay out of it. Like I was playing, I'm a fucking nerd. I played Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I paid $80 for the game and I got 320 hours of gameplay out of it. So it was like, yeah, totally worth the investment. And then you look at some of the older games like Call of Duty. I mean, those are just constantly like
Modern
they're adding
Warfare
maps.
3? Holy shit, I put in time.
Yeah.
But listen, you want to know time? This game that I'm playing right now tracks the time you play. So since 2018, just give a guess at how many hours I've played. Since 2018.
How many hours?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and
this goes by hours.
Oh, by hours?
Yeah,
okay.
It goes by hours. But anyway, here, look, I'll tell you.
3,000.
14,000 hours.
Oh.
That's how many hours I put into this game. So I definitely got my money's worth out of it. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I was a big Legend of Zelda fan back in the day. Do you remember the Legend of Zelda that came out for the Nintendo gaming system back in like 85, 86?
Oh yeah. And then I remember part 2 was hard as fuck.
Well, I got the first one. I remember you bought the special game pack. It was like $85, and at the time, 1986, who the hell spending $85 for special gaming pack? And I'll tell you, I burnt that game out, man. I love that game.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite games ever.
And then you go and play like the second one, the side scroller, Link's Awakening or whatever. And it's hard as fuck. Like it's so fucking hard. Like
I wasn't into it as much.
Yeah, it's no good. But
Final Fantasy X is the all-time greatest game ever made, though.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with Final Fantasy VII on that one.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. 10 is the greatest. You can't tell me otherwise. 10 is the greatest.
All right.
game.
Well, let me tell you, like 10 came out whenever I was in Japan, right? I was stationed in Japan, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in Japan where they make the fucking consoles. I was like, this should be easy, right? You know, and like, but we had found out, like, look, if you buy a Japanese console, a Japanese PlayStation, you won't be able to use it while you're back in the States.
Right. They're not compatible.
So I didn't get to play it while I was over there. So I just missed the boat on it.
Oh.
Yeah, I hear it's really good though. I might, and they have it on Switch. I considered playing it. I was playing 8 for a while too.
Do yourself a favor. Once you start that game, like that is probably, besides this game Division, that is probably one of the longest games I ever played because it took that long to do all the things in it that you had to do to finish the game. Like it literally took me 6 months to finish that game, and I did everything you could possibly do. They have special missions in there. They have a game within the game. They have a game called Blitzball in there. Oh man, it's just the game. It's the graphics are great. I mean, it's an amazing game for the time. I mean, you know, I started playing it in 2003, so it's just a great game.
Did you know there's a hardcore connection to that game?
No, I did not.
You know how there's like a metal song in there?
Okay.
I think it's in I think it may be in that Blitzball sequence.
Really?
There's like a metal song in there, and the vocalist of that track is actually a guy. His name is he goes by the name Sergeant Vegan. Like he was a paratrooper in the army, and he was vegan, and he's a hardcore like vegan straight edge guy. And like he was telling me that he actually skateboarded to Square Studios when he was stationed in Japan, and they said, all right, like lay your vocals down on this track, you know, and he did that. And
wow,
and yeah, so yeah, I can't remember what the track is called, but I'll have to send it to you. But it's yeah, the guy was originally connected with hardcore, but I don't know, man. Final Fantasy VII, so good, so good.
Listen, I hear you. I know. I've played it. I'm a fan of the game. And like you, a lot of people have said 7 is the best one. I don't know. I'm just a fan of 10. It was that good, man. To me, okay. I love it.
I've been playing on Switch Trials of Mana, like in the Mana series. Like there was Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana. Have you played that one?
No, I have not. Like, listen, Final Fantasy X for me killed all the Final Fantasies after that. I started playing 10-2, and I started trying 11, and I even went to 12. And I was like, you know what? None of them just can hold
a candle.
Yeah. I kind of like stepped away from that series for a while.
Yeah, I hear you.
I still
like
go back and play Blitzball on Final Fantasy X, like because I love the game. But yeah, other than that, I can't see myself going to any other Final Fantasies anymore. I'm just like I can't do Call of Duty anymore. They got so bad after a while.
Well, I quit Call of Duty because Call of Duty made me pissed off, and it's like I don't like being pissed off when I play video games. Like I just want to I'm like a Mario Kart guy now, man. Like I just want that's kind of why I got the Nintendo, is it kind of brought me back to that like childhood nostalgia, and like I'm an angry person enough as it is. Like, I don't need to be fucking angrier. You know?
don't need to hear
So,
the toxicity.
those fucking chat rooms, man.
Oh, dude, they're horrible. I
Yeah.
go in there just sometimes so I could laugh.
Yeah.
Hear what
Yeah.
people have to say, because I don't really talk in them. I'm like, nah, man, it gets ridiculous. Even like in the game I play, this Division, there's a place called the Dark Zone where that's where you do your PvPing. That's where
Yeah.
everybody talks fucking shit
Yeah.
everywhere, and it gets bad, like
Yeah.
bad. And
Yep.
I even heard that Xbox now, you say something wrong, you get banned.
They'll just ban you. Yeah.
Yeah, they just ban you now.
Yeah.
Now they
'Cause
have like
people
that.
used to say,
They have like
yeah,
this
people used to say crazy racist
yeah,
shit and like, yeah.
100%. Yeah, so now they have like the AI, the computer listens to what you say, and if you say something wrong, that's it. They got you. You're done. You don't even get the chance anymore.
Is it like an instant? I mean, is it like a temporary ban or like a
I heard it
permanent?
was you won't get banned at that moment, but tomorrow you try to log on and go into your chat, you ain't gonna be there.
Wow.
That's how
Okay.
Xbox does it. That's what my friend told me, because he got Xbox. I don't have Xbox. I'm not an Xbox guy. I'm a PlayStation guy.
Weird world we live in.
Getting
But
weird about the day.
yeah, God bless. So aside from working and playing games and doing the band, what's a day in the life like for you?
Well, that's it.
You just covered it? Is that it? Okay.
You just covered it.
Moving on. Moving on.
It's work. Done with work. Little TV. If my sports teams aren't playing, I'm watching a series or more work. And
Okay.
let me not forget to throw in, I like to eat a lot too. So eating.
Okay. All right. Fair answer. All right. What is one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
Oh shit. One piece of advice I'd give to my younger self. I would say follow your heart and do whatever you want to do. Don't listen to nobody. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah. That's a good one. For sure. I feel like I've done that most of my life, and I feel like a lot of people have done that most of their lives too. Well, I mean, we were talking about like the white collar people that, maybe they're happy. Who knows? Maybe, they've got to fulfill their, dreams of having a family or something like that, buying a house, So,
I mean, for me personally, my astrological sign is a Cancer, and a Cancer, they're called, they're the dreamer, so I followed my dreams.
You fucking did great things, man. Like I'm hugely. I think you guys did such a, so many awesome albums, and I absolutely love, what you guys are continuing to do.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Are there any bands that you want to shout out, like, newer bands, even more specifically, like bands that people should check out?
Pain of Truth. If you want to like hear good new hardcore, like legit hardcore, Pain of Truth, they are one of the better ones out there right now doing it. Like, yeah. I'm not really hip to a lot of the newer stuff that's going on. I'm an old man. I'm a relic. I mean, I don't know whatever you want to call me, but
right.
We got to play with Pain of Truth, and I like followed them since, and they're really a really good band, like super good.
Yeah, I think I caught some of their stuff, and I remember liking it. Yeah, and they seem to be making some pretty big waves.
Yeah, that they are for sure. I mean, they were on. I forget the band they were on tour, but they were playing arenas. Like they played the Prudential Center in New Jersey. Was it A Day to Remember? Is that the name of the band?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that was the band that they were on tour with. But wow, for Pain of Truth to play those places is amazing for them. That's great.
Yeah, such a different band for them to play with too. They're a little more friendly and accessible, then
yes,
true.
well, yeah, true that. But I mean, that's great. Like that was like us when we got to play Ozfest. You know, is just is an amazing feeling to play those kinds of places.
Yeah. Well, and then you get all these kids who would never hear your music otherwise that get to hear it. You know,
100%. That's what it's all about, really. It's playing to the masses. You know, you want to get your name out there. You want people to hear you, and what better than to play an arena? You can't get any better than that, especially if it's sold out. Shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That was always kind of my dream, you know. Never got to fulfill that, but it's fine. I've got to do a lot of other cool stuff. But dude, you've done so much amazing stuff. And with all the stuff that you've done, what is currently in the works for you with Sworn Enemy?
We're working on a new record right now. I'm waiting to get some music. I got a couple of songs. I got to write some lyrics to them. You know, I'm waiting for some more. And then we just signed with FM Music Management, which is a very big deal for us. You know, they have bands like Testament, Exodus, Death Angel, As I Lay Dying, all on their roster. So for us to join a roster like that already, it's really big for us. And, you know, looking for 2026 to be a really good year for us.
To come down to the Southeast at all?
I listen, I'll come down to anywhere. I hope we just get to tour. You know, that's all I want to do is just get out there, get out on the road, play some music, and hopefully we do get to come around your way, you know?
Yeah, I've been dying to see you guys.
Yeah, this way we can hang out, grab a beer, do a shot of whiskey, and smoke a cigarette.
Well, like I said, I'm sober, but
oh shit, I'm sorry, my bad, man. My bad.
No, you're good. Maybe we can wax ecstatic about old era NES games or something, and you can do the whiskey and the cigs. Yeah.
There you go. That's the deal.
But yeah, man, dude, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show, and yeah, I'm stoked to be able to. I even talked to Chris and to Johnny and some of the other people, and I was like, I'm going to do a Northeastern tour where I come up and just visit everybody that, you know, has been like on the show and people I've made contacts with. So if I'm ever up your way,
let me know, bro.
Well, maybe for a New York Sworn Enemy show, I could even just make the date around that, you know, and just you know, go around and hit up all my friends and then go and see SE and NYC, you know. So
absolutely,
yeah, man. So
great.
Yeah, again, thank you for being a part of the show. And I want to thank everybody who has checked out this episode. If you like what you hear, click on that like button, click on the subscribe button, click on the little bell for notifications. And like I mentioned, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, give us a follow and give us a rating. That would be so awesome. We're doing great things. And, you know, we're continuing to get some amazing guests on here who are also doing some great things. So please support independent podcasting, and we'd love you forever. Everybody, namaste, jobless, be good. Sal, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate you having me, my friend.
Appreciate you.